Talk about being able to make any day better. This morning, I logged into Crunchyroll and I opened it up, and immediately right there was The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. And if you're like me, I never really thought that we might get a follow-up to The Rising of the Shield Hero. It's one of my favorite anime of all time. I have rewatched it so many times. I even rewatched it right before this new season came out just to be quote-unquote prepared. And it's really just to indulge myself and just really enjoy one of my favorite animes that I really love. I love 𝐜𝐿𝐹umi as a character. He's toxic, but not toxic by nature. He's toxic by the way they made him. I love Raphtalia. You know, she's our little raccoon girl. You have Philo, you have Melty. You know, I love everybody that is surrounding The Rising of the Shield Hero. So when I opened my Crunchyroll app this morning and I saw The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2, I did my little... I can't even express that. I did a little giddy dance. Just so excited. And then I jumped into the first episode of Season 2, and I didn't know what I was going to get. The way that The Rising of the Shield Hero Season 1 ended is based on everybody I've talked to, based on everybody I've had conversations with. I still have yet to read the source material. It's on my wish list on Books A Million. It's on my wish list on Amazon to finally go and get the source material and get it in my collection someday. But I haven't actually spent time to read it. But everybody I've talked to has told me that, hey, the way Season 1 ended was it ended in a fashion to where they skipped ahead in source material, way beyond that they were supposed to, because the domain that 𝐜𝐿𝐹umi is lord of for Raphtalia wasn't supposed to occur till way later in the story, but that happened there. The same thing with Lark and Therese and everything that ended up happening there specifically. It seems like they kind of skipped ahead. And a lot of that has to do with they didn't know, I think the studio themselves, I don't think they actually knew on okay, are we going to get a season 2? Are we going to get a continuation? What's going to end up happening to the anime? I think that it was kind of up in the air. So to give us me and you, the viewer, kind of something that is solidified as a quote unquote ending, they skipped ahead and they took some liberties. Well, in jumping into episode 1 today, we didn't know what we were going to get. I didn't know if they were going to backtrack on that and kind of do a reset and stick closer to the source material. If they were just going to write it off completely and start over from maybe a different point in Season 1. Or if they were going to continue and just say, F it, this is where we left off, this is what we did. Let's kind of intermingle the story into what it should be and what it should be and what it was. And let's make our own bridge gap between that. And that's exactly what they ended up doing here. And I'm actually pleased on it because if they backtracked in any way, shape, or form, I wouldn't have been disappointed because I definitely understand on why it happens, why it should happen, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm happy that they didn't say F it and throw that away. They're just basically saying, okay, we started at a point later on. We're going to eat that. We're going to say, okay, we did it. And we're going to kind of bring that weave that back into the story that should be. Now, with episode number 1, I'm going to finally get into it, right? With episode number 1, there's 2 main things that it focused on, and oh my god, I am giddy. I can probably talk about this for 30 minutes, but I'm gonna keep this down to less than 10. I'm gonna try my best. So there's 2 main things that this focused on. Well, let's focus on 3. Okay, there's 3 things. Okay, you guys are probably yo, come on, Dom. I know you're excited, but calm down. There's 3 main things. So the first thing is the spirit tortoise. So I love that they're introducing immediately right off the bat. We know that the waves are. The interdimensional waves are extremely important. Fighting Therese and Lark, etc., from another world is extremely important. That's the big hierarchy bad, quote unquote. That is the big catastrophic world-ending catastrophe that is looming over the kingdom, the world, etc. That is what 𝐜𝐿𝐹umi and the rest of the heroes are going to have to fight. Period. The end. Right? They're gonna have to make a huge decision when it comes to that. Take a step back from that, though, I love how they're introducing a new villain or a new antagonist or a new threat with this spirit tortoise. And it's going to be a catalyst for, really 3 things. It's going to be a catalyst to really initiate Risha. It's going to be a catalyst to really decide on what the 4 heroes are going to stand for and what they're going to do. And then from an experiential standpoint, it's going to have the Shield Heroes party come together, and it's going to get some notoriety for 𝐜𝐿𝐹umi protecting, basically a separate kingdom outside of Malremark, right? He's gonna defend this kingdom, the Spirit Tortoise kingdom, and this also, well, I guess the fourth bonus one is it also just at the end of the episode it introduced a new character that she's asking to be killed. Don't know the whole story there. I'm assuming she could be a descendant. She could be the one who's controlling it. She could be manipulated by the Spirit Tortoise. There's so many different ways that this could go. I don't know what the hell her thing's about, but regardless, it's super interesting. And in any fashion, I'm just excited for 𝐿𝐼UMI to get new party members finally. You know, because he needs like a baby army behind him. Thankfully, he has the volunteer soldiers back in Malremark, but he's gonna need some real people to really travel with him and everything. So hopefully, this lady person ends up being something of that. Okay, so those are the three things that it really focused on: is Spirit Tortoise. Second thing is Risha. This episode is really focused on Risha, initiating her into the party, picking up where we got left off on last season. Really, really cute with her trading in the penguin outfit. She's learning ki from the baba, the grandma. I love that a lot. I freaking love that grandma character. I'm so happy that 𝐿𝐼UMI ended up saving her. Like, she is awesome. Baba. I love her so much. But she's teaching Risha ki, you know, kind of like, it reminds me of Black Clover a little bit, you know, how to read ki, you know, how like Asta was trained to read ki and stuff. Like, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And even 𝐿𝐼UMI mentioned himself, it's like, oh, was she teaching you? Really isn't something that's native or something that's normal to this world. So take it in stride. So, you know, it introduced Risha. She's timid. She's unconfident. She's been bashed down a lot. She hasn't been an equal to the party. You know, she's obsessed, like overly obsessive with 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, which I think eventually, you know, I think that will come to an end. I think that she will see the drastic contrast between 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭's party and just him as a person, and then 𝐿𝐼UMI, his party, being a part of this family, being a part of this party, and just 𝐿𝐼UMI, you know, just his personality to like totally, you know what I mean? Like, I think she's gonna see this drastic contrast between these two individuals, and I think that she will end up being team 𝐿𝐼UMI. I don't know if she'll fall in love with him or whatever. I'm gonna assume somewhere down the point that she will. Something will spur in her, and it'll probably be some kind of incident or some kind of interaction with 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 as well as 𝐿𝐼UMI, and she'll realize on, like, you know, her mistakes. But I love how the focus a lot was on Risha, getting her established, you know, showing us her vulnerability, showing us the willingness to become a slave, to get more powerful, to show 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, but then also showing us when 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭's life is in danger, that's still in her head, that's a priority. But 𝐿𝐼UMI definitely realizes that still, and he's going to use that to his advantage, use that to kind of like show her this contrast, but he's not going to force her into anything, you know what I mean? He's not going to force her to get rid of those feelings. I think he's just going to acknowledge that they exist and kind of use that as a catalyst to make her get better for herself, to say, oh, you're doing this for 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭, 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐭 will appreciate this. So it betters herself because she needs something that's going to drive her forward. And I really like Risha as a character as well. I thought she was really cute. She's bubbly, she's quirky, she's dorky, she's all of those different things, and I really like it quite a bit. All right, I told you guys to talk about this for like 30 minutes. All right, the last piece, which I said was like the third thing, was you know, we have the Spirit Tortoise, the catastrophic event, Risha, and then the third thing really is the divisiveness between the four heroes, which the Queen of Malremark, right, which she mentioned here. You know, she asked all the heroes together to go and fight this Spirit Tortoise thing, and they basically said, nah, we were isekai, we were here to fight the ways, period, the end. And 𝐿𝐼UMI himself even mentions, like, oh, they must have come across some kind of event in their MMOs, in their RPGs, in the games that they played back in the world, and they're basically like, I ain't doing none of this. And it came back that when Philo was chatting with the Filolio King, right? Filolio Queen, you know, even her, she was like, okay, this was the thing that we talked about, me and you 𝐿𝐼UMI. This is the thing that we talked about in season 1, where you're going to have to make a decision. Are you fighting for the people? Or are you fighting for the world? You know, this is one of those events that's going to happen with the Spirit Tortoise that she saw coming. So she's not going to give 𝐿𝐼UMI like any more tips than that. But she was like, this is a huge stepping stone into which way you're going to be going here. And I love that there's so much weight behind this decision to fight the tortoise, don't fight the tortoise. But then it's also still causing a divide because I don't think the other heroes are going to show up. I think it's going to be an NAOFUMI show here. It's also going to cause that a continued divide between the 4 heroes and between the 3 heroes and then NAOFUMI between the 4 heroes. The good thing is their relationship is a lot better, all 4 heroes, than it was in season 1 because of all the things that ended up happening with season 1. So I think that they have trust in NAOFUMI now, but that divide is still going to be there, and I think that's a really interesting concept. And I think all this stuff that it's setting up is just so effing interesting, and I love it so much. Like, I'm gonna go back and rewatch episode 1 again just to take it all in. But I freaking love this. Now, to avoid talking for another 10 minutes about this, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna turn the leaf over to you. Let me know what you thought about episode 1 down in the comments. Let me know if you're as excited as I am for Shield Hero being back. Let me know if it made your day as well. But thank you guys for joining me for episode 1 of Shield Hero Season 2. I cannot wait to cover this. I don't care if this video gets 1 view or 1,000,000 views. I'm covering this every single week. You guys can hear me vomit about my excitement for Shield Hero. I'm so happy it's back. All right, my friends. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.